start. Shalom Shalum, continuing our reading in the book of Enoch, chapter 91. And now, my son Methuselah, call to me all your brethren, and assemble for me all the children of your mother. For a voice calls me, and the Ruach is poured out upon me, that I may show you everything which shall happen to you forever. Then Methuselah went, called to him all his brethren, and assembled his kindred, and conversing with all his children in truth, said, Hear, my children, every word of your father, and listen in uprightness to the voice of my mouth, for I would gain your attention while I address you, my beloved. Be attached to integrity, and walk in it. Approach not integrity with a double heart, nor be associated with double-minded men, but walk, my children, in righteousness, which will conduct you in good paths, and let truth be your companion. For I know that oppression will exist and prevail on Charetz, that on Charetz great punishment shall in the end take place, and that there shall be a consummation of all iniquity, which shall be cut off from its root, and every fabric shall pass away. Iniquity shall, however, again be renewed and consummated on earth, Charetz. Every act of crime and every act of oppression and impiety shall be second time embraced. When, therefore, iniquity, sin, blasphemy, tyranny, and every work shall increase, and transgression, impiety, and uncleanness also shall increase upon them all, shall great punishment be inflicted from the Shamayim. The Qadashayam of Yahuah shall go forth in wrath, and upon them all shall great punishment from Shamayim be afflicted. The Qadashayam of Yahuah shall go forth in wrath, and with punishment, that he may execute judgment upon Charetz. In those days oppression shall be cut off from its roots, and iniquity with fraud shall be eradicated, perishing from under the Shamayim. All the idols of the nations shall be surrendered with its inhabitants. With fire shall it be burnt. They shall be brought forth every part of Charetz, and be cast into a judgment of fire. They shall perish in wrath, and by judgment overpowering them forever. Hallelujah. Righteousness shall be raised up from slumber, and wisdom shall be raised up and conferred upon them. Then shall the roots of iniquity be cut off, sinners perish by the sword, and blasphemers be annihilated everywhere. This sounds like a millennial reign.
Great, terrible, dreadful day of Yahweh. One of those descriptions. Keep going.
Those who meditate oppression and those who blaspheme by the sword shall perish. And now, my children, I will point out to you the path of righteousness and the path of oppression. I will again point them out to you, that you may know what is to come. Hear now, my children, and walk in the path of righteousness, but shun that of oppression. For all who walk in the path of iniquity shall perish forever.
We appreciate your words, Enoch.
That which was written by Enoch. He wrote all this instruction of wisdom for every man of dignity, and every judge of Charetz, for all my children who shall dwell upon Charetz, and for subsequent generation, conducting themselves uprightly and peaceably. Let not your Ruach be grieved on account of the times, for the Kadesh, the great Echad, has prescribed a period to all. Let the righteous man arise from slumber. Let him arise and proceed in the path of righteousness in all its paths, and let him advance in goodness and eternal clemency. Mercy shall be showed to the righteous man. Upon him shall be conferred integrity and power forever. In goodness and in righteousness shall he exist, and shall walk in everlasting light. But sins shall perish in eternal darkness, nor be seen from that time forward forevermore. After this, Enoch began to speak from a sefer. And Enoch said, Concerning the children of righteousness, concerning the elect of the world, and concerning the plant of righteousness and integrity, these things will I speak of, and I will explain to you, my children. I am Enoch. in consequence of that which has been shown to me from my heavenly vision, and from the voice of the watchers and the Kodesh ones have I acquired knowledge, and from the tablet of Shamayim have I acquired understanding. Enoch then began to speak from a sefer, and said, I have been born the 7th in the 1st week, while judgment and righteousness wait with patience.
Okay, so the 7th in the 1st week.
Mm.
The 1st week, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. So that first 1,000 years, he was born within. And also, the other thing that we're not seeing is that Jubilees calendar.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that's in play here that's still invisible.
Yeah. That's actually the first thing that came into my mind when I was reading those terms. I was like, oh, they're talking about that.
Here's one for that. Man's years shall be 120.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Jubilee's years. That would be multiplied by 49 plus a 50, and you're looking right about when we are now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
I'll let you folks do the math on that one.
But after me, in the 2nd week, great wickedness shall arise, and fraud shall spring forth. In that week, the end of the first shall take place, in which man will be saved. But when it is completed, iniquity shall grow up, and he shall execute the decree upon sinners. Afterwards, in the 3rd week, during the completion, a man of the plant of righteous judgment shall be selected, and after him the plant of righteousness shall come forever. Subsequently, in the 4th week, during its completion, the visions of the Kodesh and the righteous shall be seen, the order of generation after generation, and a habitation shall be made for them. Then in the 5th week, during its completion, the house of esteem and of dominion shall be erected forever.
For instance, the one here is the voice of the watchers and the holy ones, which is footnote. The holy angels, the Kodesh angels, the Qumran text reads the watchers and the Kodesh ones, clearly denoting heavenly watchers who did not fall along with the wicked ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gives some examples. The last one that we just read, which was
verse 9, I think.
Afterward, in the 3rd week, during the completion, a man, footnote, and here it says King David at the end of the 3rd millennium. And then, above that where it says, let's go there, in verse 6, in that week, at the end of the 1st shall take place, in which man shall be saved. The footnote is the deluge. So there, it's talking about the flood. So what I'm realizing, just through
that's Noah.
The footnotes here, that this is a recap of everything that I read earlier in that prophecy.
So cool.
Wow.
Yeah, we're getting it all told again from like a little bit different perspective.
Okay, so here it talks about King David. Okay, in 41. Okay, so the plant of righteousness, righteous judgment shall be selected, and after him the plant of righteousness. So here the footnote is Hamashiach at the end of the 4th millennium.
Wow. 3rd, 2 more.
And
see, he said last days, which would be like the last 2,000 years.
So let's look at the footnote, the second to last one that you're at, where it talks about the house of esteem and dominion in verse 9. And that says of the reestablishment, 30 AD, and rebuilding the called out assembly through the 5th and the 6th millennium, which is spoken about by Zachariahu 6:12.
I always like the footnotes, but want to consider too that Yahusha told his disciples, "I go to prepare a place for you," right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that would have been during you said the end of the third week?
When he said it, yeah.
Yeah. So, take two more, they're calling them weeks. A millennial is a week in this part of the text. So, he comes for us like after it's completed. So what if that's also referring to the new Jerusalem, because it's going to be esteem and dominion and shall be erected forever. And so when the new Jerusalem descends down upon the earth and the sons of Elohim will rule and reign, are they going to talk about that as week 7 in here?
Then in the 5th week,
Mm-hmm.
during its completion, the house of the Lord and its dominion. That's saying it's the reestablishment. That's all it's saying. But there is in parentheses 30 AD.
Yeah, they're likening it to a temple reign on earth.
What I would probably understand it as, if you look at the book of Daniel's prophecy, it says there will be a time where Mashiach is cut off. There is a time that in between there, and then the days start again.
Yeah. Well, it says that it's erected forever. Yep. So if we liken it to something going on in Israel, then that's going to be...
No, I don't think it's this one. I think it's the next one, the true establishment.
Yeah, that's right. After that, in the 6th week, all those who are in it shall be darkened. The heart of all of them shall be forgetful of wisdom, and in it shall a man arise and come forth. And okay, go ahead.
Footnote there is Mashiach at the end of the 6th millennium.
So what is that going to be, the return? And during its completion, he shall burn the house of dominion with fire, and all the race of the elect root shall be dispersed. Wow.
So here's the footnote, the destruction of Jerusalem and disbursement of those who dwell in the land at the end of the 6th, at the beginning of the 7th millennium.
Okay.
Which is right where we're at now. So
yeah, right.
In our present times.
Yeah.
This is fun. Okay.
Afterwards, in the 7th week, a perverse generation shall arise. Abundant shall be its deeds, and all its deeds perverse. During its completion, the righteous shall be selected from the everlasting plant of righteousness, and to them shall be given the 7-fold doctrines of his whole creation. Afterwards, there shall be another week. Oh, this is maybe what I was looking at. The 8th of righteousness, to which shall be given a sword to execute judgment and justice upon all oppressors.
See, that's one thing that, first off, world without end.
Right, absolutely.
The general persuasion, all worshiping on the first day of the week. What I could also say the first day of the week is also the 8th day of the week. Have you ever thought of that? It's the day that follows the Shabbat. And so this
I wouldn't be...
after that millennial reign, I would have to assume.
Yeah, it looks like so we're entering into a discussion of the millennial reign, but it also, from my understanding, is we still have to ultimately put away 2 more enemies, right? Which are Hashatan ultimately and death. Death itself. So that hasn't come yet. Sinners shall be delivered up into the hands of the righteous, who during its completion shall acquire habitations by their righteousness, and the house of the great king shall be established for celebrations forever. After this, in the 9th week, shall the judgment of righteousness be revealed to the whole world. Every work of the wicked shall disappear from the whole earth. The world shall be marked for destruction, and all men shall be on the watch for the path of integrity. And after this, on the 7th day of the 10th week, there shall be an everlasting judgment, which shall be executed upon the watchers. And a spacious eternal Shamayim shall spring forth in the midst of the angels.
Spacious eternal heaven shall spring forth. Is that a new creation?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like new heavens and new earth, right?
It shall execute on the waters. So it sounds like it's the judgment.
Everlasting judgment.
So because of this, there's a spacious eternal heaven shall spring forth in the midst of these angels.
It says next, the former Shamayim shall depart and pass away, a renewed Shamayim shall appear, and all the celestial powers shine with sevenfold splendor forever. Hallelujah. Afterward, likewise, shall there be many weeks, which shall externally exist in goodness and righteousness. Neither shall sin be named there forever and ever. Who is there of all the children of men capable of hearing the voice of the Kodesh Achad without emotion? Who is there capable of thinking his thoughts? Who is capable of contemplating all the workmanship of Shamayim? Who of comprehending the deeds of Shamayim? He may behold its animation, but not its Ruach. He may be capable of conversing, but not of ascending. He may see all the boundaries of these things and meditate upon them, but he can make nothing like them. Who of all...
What did he just say? A man may behold its animation. They can animate things, but they can't create it.
Exactly. Right. And even if you may be able to talk about these things and, you can't actually go to its height. You don't truly understand. Well, at least not yet. All right. Who of all men is able to understand the breadth and the length of the Haaretz? Right? Indeed it does. By whom have been seen the dimensions of all these things? Is it every man who is capable of comprehending the extent of Shamayim, what its elevation is, and by what it is supported? How many are the number of the stars, and where all the luminaries remain at rest? Yeah, this is kind of a humbling thing, right?
So those luminaries, they remain at Shalom. Question mark. So those are all questions.
And now let me exhort you, my children, to love righteousness and to walk in it. For the cycles of righteousness are worthy of exception, but the paths of iniquity shall suddenly fail and be diminished. To men of note in their generation, the paths of oppression and death are revealed, but they keep far from them and do not follow them.
Men of renown.
And he's trying to teach his children too, not to rely on worldly wisdom, right? But to really pursue righteousness and flee from wickedness. Okay. Now too let me exhort you righteousness, not to walk in the paths of evil and oppression, nor in the paths of death. Approach them not, that you may not perish, but covet and choose for yourselves righteousness and a good life. Walk in the paths of peace, that you may live and be found worthy. Retain my words in your innermost thoughts, and obliterate them not from your hearts. For I know that sinners counsel men to commit crime craftily. They are not found in every place, nor does every counsel possess a little of them. Woe to those who build iniquity and oppression, and who lay the foundation of fraud, for suddenly shall they be subverted and never obtain peace. Woe to those who build up their houses with crime, For from their very foundation shall their house be demolished, and by the sword shall they fall. Those too who acquire gold and silver shall justly and suddenly perish. Woe to you who are rich, for in your riches have you trusted, but from your riches you shall be removed, because you have not remembered Al-Elyon in the days of your prosperity. You have committed blasphemy and iniquity, and are destined to the day of the effusion of blood. Yikes. Yeah, it runs high up to the bridle of the horse.
Day of the effusion of blood.
To the day of darkness, and to the day of the great judgment. This will declare a point out to you. This I will declare and point out to you, that he who created you will destroy you. When you fall, he will not show you mercy, but your Creator will rejoice in your destruction. Let those then who shall be righteous among you in those days detest sinners and the wicked. Oh, that my eyes were clouds of water, that I might weep over you, and pour forth my tears like rain, the rest of the sorrow of my heart. Who has permitted you to hate and to transgress? Judgment shall overtake you, ye sinners. The righteous shall not fear the wicked, because Elohim will again bring them into your power, that you may avenge yourselves of them according to your pleasure. Indeed, the shoe will be on the other foot. Woe to you who shall be so bound by execrations that you cannot be released from them, the remedy being far removed from you on account of your sins. Woe to you who recompense your neighbor with evil, for you shall be recompensed according to your works, and reap what you sow. Woe to you, false witnesses! You have aggravated iniquity, for you shall suddenly perish. Woe to you, sinners, for you reject the righteous, for you receive or reject those who do iniquity, and their yoke shall prevail over you.
Blind guides, brood of vipers.
Right?
Okay, was Enoch listening in on that little conversation?
Oh yeah. I mean, he has the full understanding when he's at this time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are we? I would have to say, with the prophecies that we've just heard that are still to come, and others that have absolutely been fulfilled, there's still of his prophecies that are still to come for sure.
Yeah.
So he was with us in that this time. He traveled to this time. He looked around. He went, oh, wow, this is okay.
Right. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
And the main thing he wants to say is literally like recounting in Deuteronomy that says, raise up a child in the way that they shall go, that they may not depart from it, right? To love righteousness, to obey Yahweh and fear Yahweh, to not put your trust in horses. Like, it's, if his eyes could be clouds full of rain, that he could weep for sinners. That's something.
I will declare and point out to you that he who created you will destroy you.
Yeah, something that you never hear Christian preachers talk about,
when you fall, he will show you no chesed. But your Creator will rejoice over your destruction.
That's right.
I'll tell you what,
fear of Yahweh.
If you don't have that fear, you'll be destroyed.
Right.
And if you don't have that righteous fear.
Okay, chapter 96. Wait in hope, you righteous, for suddenly shall sinners perish from before you, and ye shall exercise dominion over them according to your will.
Okay, could that be what's going on with say a mass vaccine? So
I think it's part of it.
Can we say that word? If it's getting on flying?
I don't know. Well, I mean, that's part of it, but you also see what looks to be the sons of Elohim ruling and reigning in righteousness on the earth.
Exactly.
That's right. Exercising dominion over sinners according to their will, their will will be aligned with his. In the day of the sufferings of sinners, your offspring shall be elevated and lifted up like eagles. Your nest shall be more exalted than that of the Avest. You shall ascend and enter into the cavities of the Haaretz and into the clefts of the rocks forever, like conies?
Conies, a rock picture.
Oh, from the sight of the wicked, who shall groan over you and weep like sirens. Whole other conversation for another time. You shall not fear those who trouble you, for restoration shall be yours. A splendid light shall shine around you, and the voice of tranquility shall be heard from Shamayim. Woe to you, sinners, for your wealth makes you resemble Qadashayam, but your hearts reproach you, that you are sinners. This word shall testify against you for the remembrance of crime. Woe to you who feed upon the esteem of the grain and drink the strength of the deepest spring, and in your power tread down the humble. Woe to you who drink water at pleasure, for suddenly shall ye be recompensed, consumed, and withered, because you have forsaken the fountain of life. Woe to you who act iniquitously, fraudulently, and blasphemously. There shall be a remembrance against you for evil. Woe to you, powerful, who with power strike down righteousness, for the day of your destruction shall come at the very time, and good days shall be the portion of the righteous at the period of your judgment. Man, a lot of wicked leaders in the world need to read this. Well, everyone does. 97. The righteous are confident that sinners will be disgraced and perish in the day of iniquity. You shall yourselves be conscious of it, for Al-Alyan will remember your destruction, and the angels shall rejoice over it. What will you do, sinners? Where will you fly in the day of judgment, when you shall hear the words of the prayers of the righteous? You are not like them who in this respect witnesses against you. You are associates of sinners. In those days shall the prayers of the righteous come up before Yahuah, when the day of your judgment shall arrive, and every circumstance of your iniquity be related before the great and the Kodesh Echad. Your faces shall be covered with shame, while every deed strengthened by crime shall be rejected. Woe unto you, sinners, who in the midst of the sea and on dry land are those against whom an evil record exists. Woe to you who squander silver and gold, not obtained in righteousness, and say, we are rich, possess wealth, and have acquired everything which we can desire. Now then will we do whatsoever we are disposed to do, for we have amassed silver. Our barns are full, and the husbandmen of our families are like overflowing water. Like water shall your falsehood pass away, for your wealth will not be permanent, but shall suddenly ascend from you, because you have obtained it all iniquitously, and extreme malediction shall you be delivered up.
Stored up for God in time.
Yeah, well, man, that's a good point. And right? Yeah. Well, he wants us to manage that. That was the original thing. Yeah, instead of it just being this one little plot, it's going to be the entire realm.
Think of it restored.
Right? Yeah.
Think of ourselves restored.
Mm-hmm. Yep. True peace and joy. And fulfilled in him. And now I swear to you, crafty as well as simple ones, that you often, contemplating the Haaretz, you men, clothe yourself more elegantly than married women, and both together more so than a woman, and more colored than a girl. Everywhere in majesty, in magnificence, in authority, and in silver, but gold, purple, honor, and wealth like water flow away. Man, that was just making me think of that whore of Babylon and the descriptions of the scarlet and the purple and the gold. And okay, I don't know this word. Erudition. Erudition, therefore, and wisdom are not theirs. Thus shall they perish together with their riches, with all their esteem, and with their honors. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So I would say erudition, therefore, and wisdom, this inheritance. Inheritance, therefore, and wisdom is not theirs.
Nice. Nice. While with disgrace, with slaughter, and in extreme penury, shall their Ruach Hakodesh be thrust into a furnace of fire.
Penury is interest.
We talked about this one the other day. It was actually also could be translated as poverty, remember, because it said the one that worked would have posterity, and someone of many words but without laboring was penury. And we're like, what is that? And we looked it up. We were looking at Proverbs 14, I think.
You can remember that.
Oh no, it's only random things that I can remember, and I never know why. Yeah.
Well,
all right.
You can remember that was the Ruach Hakodesh of Yahweh.
Yeah.
The righteousness speaking through you.
Hallelujah.
I admit he's done that through me this afternoon, and I appreciate it.
Yes.
For my own sake, to be quite honest.
Yeah, praise him.
I don't myself up or anything, but I have to say, maybe I have had words that have edified myself.
Yeah, right. One of the real.
Well, that sounds like a prideful statement to me.
Well, the glorious thing about the feast, right? We're all being fed.
Oh yeah.
You know.
By the way, this is the food of the feast. It's not the physical stuff, which is wonderful, by the way.
Yeah, right.
That goes into our face holes.
Right. Man does not live on
face holes. Yeah.
Right. Man does not live on bread alone, but on all these words that are proceeded of Yahuah.
I have nothing.
That's right. That's right. All right. I have sworn to you, sinners, that neither mountain nor hill has been or shall be subservient to women. Neither in this way has crime been sent down to us upon Charetz, but men of their own heads have invented it. And greatly shall those who give it efficiency, be execrated.
Isn't that, excuse me, pooped out if you were going to translate it?
Oh, man. Yes.
Wow. I would have to translate that.
That's right, right? Yeah. Barrenness shall not be previously inflicted on woman, but on account of the work of her hands shall she die childless. I have sworn to you, sinners, by the Kodesh and great Echad, that all your evil deeds are disclosed in the Shamayim, and that none of your oppressive acts are concealed in secret. Can't hide nothing from him. Think not in your minds, neither say in your hearts that every crime is not manifested and seen.
I'm saved by grace. Yeah, by grace.
In heaven it is daily written down before Al-Kyon. Henceforward shall it be manifested. For every act of oppression which you commit shall be daily recorded until the period of your condemnation. Woe to you, simple ones, for you shall perish in your simplicity. To the wise you will not listen, and to that which is good you shall not obtain. Now therefore know that you are destined to the day of destruction, nor hope that sinners shall live, but in the process of time you shall die, for you are not marked, sealed, for redemption.
What's that mark? The name in Shabbat.
but are destined to the day of the great judgment, to the day of distress, and the extreme ignominy of your souls. Woe to you, obdurate in heart, who commit crime and feed on blood. Whence do you feed on good things, drink, and are satisfied? Is it not because our Adonai Al-Elyon has abundantly supplied every good thing upon Charetz? To you there shall not be shalom. Woe to you who love the deeds of iniquity. Why do you hope for that which is good? Know that you shall be given up into the hands of the righteous, who shall cut off your necks, slay you, and show you no compassion. Woe to you who rejoice in the trouble of the righteous, for a grave shall not be dug for you. Woe to you who frustrate the word of the righteous, for to you there shall be no hope of life. Woe to you who write down the word of falsehood and the word of the wicked, for their falsehood they record, that they may hear and not forget folly. To them there shall be no peace, no shalom, but they shall surely die suddenly. Chapter 98. Woe to them who act impiously, who laud and honor the word of falsehood. You have been lost in perdition and have never led a virtuous life. Woe to you who change the words of integrity. They transgress against the eternal Torah, and cause the heads of those who are not sinners to be trodden down upon Charetz. And those days you, O righteous, shall have been deemed worthy of having your prayers rise up in remembrance, and shall have deposited them in testimony before the angels, that they might record the sins of the sinners in the presence of Al-Elyon. In those days, the nations shall be overthrown, but the families of the nations shall rise again in the day of perdition. The families of the nations. Okay. In those days, they who become pregnant shall go forth, carry off their children, and forsake them. Their offspring shall slip from them, and while suckling them, they shall forsake them. They shall never return to them, and never instruct their beloved. Again, I swear to you, sinners, that crime has been prepared for the day of blood, which never ceases. They shall worship stones and engrave golden, silver, and wooden images. They shall worship impure Ruach, devils and every idol, in temples, but no help shall be obtained for them. Their hearts shall become impious through their folly, and their eyes shall be blinded with the fear of their hearts. In their visionary dreams shall they be impious and superstitious, lying in all their actions, and worshiping a stone. Altogether shall they perish. But in those days, blessed shall they be, to whom the word of wisdom is delivered, who point out and pursue the path of Al-Elyon, who walk in the ways of righteousness, and who act not impiously with the impious. They shall be saved.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Woe to you who expand the crimes of your neighbor, for in Sheol shall you be slain. Woe to you who lay the foundation of sin and deceit, and who are bitter on Charetz, for on it shall you be consumed. Woe to you who build your houses by the labor of others, every part of which is constructed with brick and with the stone of crime. I tell you that you shall not obtain shalom. Woe to you who despise the extent of the everlasting inheritance of your fathers, while your souls follow after idols, for to you there shall be no tranquility. Woe to them who commit iniquity and give aid to blasphemy, who slay their neighbor until the day of the great judgment, for your glory shall fall. Malevolence shall he put into your hearts, and the ruach of his wrath shall stir you up, that every one of you may perish by the sword. Then shall all the righteous and the holy remember your crimes. In those days shall fathers be struck down with their children in the presence of each other, and brethren with their brethren shall fall dead, until a river shall flow from their blood. For a man shall not restrain his hand from his children, nor from his children's children. His mercy will be to kill them. Yikes. Nor shall the sinner restrain his hand from his honored brother. From the dawn of day to the setting sun shall the slaughter continue. The horse shall wade up to his breast, and the chariot shall sink.
Revelation 14.
Right? And the chariot shall sink to its axle in the blood of sinners. Chapter 100. Yeah. In those days the angels shall descend into places of concealment and gather together in one spot all that have assisted in crime. In that day shall Al-Elyon rise up to execute great judgment upon all sinners, and to commit the guardianship of all the righteous, and Kodesh to the Kodesh angels, that they may protect them as the apple of an eye, until every evil and every crime be annihilated. Whether or not the righteous sleep securely, wise men shall then truly perceive, and the sons of the earth shall understand every word of the Sefer.
Yes.
Knowing that their riches cannot save them in the ruin of their crimes. Woe to you, sinners, when you shall be afflicted on account of the righteous in the day of the great trouble, shall be burnt in the fire, and be recompensed according to your deeds. Woe to you, perverted in heart, who are watchful to obtain an accurate knowledge of evil, and to discover terrors. No one shall assist you. Woe to you, sinners! For with the words of your mouth and with the work of your hands have you acted impiously. In the flame of a blazing fire shall you be burnt. And now know that angels shall inquire into your conduct in Shamayim of the sun, the moon, and the stars, respecting your sins. For upon Haaretz you exercise jurisdiction over the righteous. Every cloud shall bear witness against you, the snow, the dew, and the rain. For all of them shall be withheld from you, that they may not descend upon you, nor become subservient to your crimes. Now then bring gifts of salutation to the rain, that not being withheld it may descend upon you, and to the dew, if it has received from you gold and silver. But when the frost, snow, cold, every snowy wind, and every suffering belonging to them fall upon you, in those days you will be utterly incapable of standing before them. Attentively consider, Shamayim, all your progeny of heaven, and all the works of Al-Elyon. Fear him, nor conduct yourselves criminally before him. If he shut up the windows of the Shamayim, restraining the rain and dew, that it may not descend upon the earth on your account, what will you do? And if he send his wrath upon you, and upon all your deeds, you are not they who can supplicate him. You who utter against his righteousness language proud and powerful. To you there shall be no shalom. I'm going to 4 here, chapter 101, verse 4. Okay. Do you not see the commanders of ships, how their vessels are tossed about by the waves, torn to pieces by the wind, and exposed to greatest peril? That they therefore fear, because their whole property is embarked with them on the ocean, and they forebode evil in their hearts, because it may swallow them up, and they may perish in it. Is not the whole sea, all its waters, and all its commotion, the works of him, Al-Elyon, of who has sealed up all its exertions and girded it on every side with sand? At his rebuke dried up and alarmed, while all its fish with everything in it die? And will not you sinners who are on the earth fear him? Is not he the maker of Shamayim and Haaretz, and all things which are in them? And who has given erudition and wisdom to all that move upon Haaretz and over the sea? Are not the commanders of ships terrified at the ocean, and shall not sinners be terrified of Al-Aliyah? Hallelujah. They know the words of their father too, right? In those days, when he shall cast a calamity of fire upon you, whither will you fly, and where will you be safe? And when he sends forth the word against you, are you not spared and terrified? All the luminaries are agitated with great fear, and all Haaretz is spared, while it trembles and suffers anxiety. All the angels fulfill the commands received by them, and are desirous of being concealed from the presence of the great esteem, while the children of Haaretz are alarmed and troubled. But you sinners are forever accursed. To you there shall be no shalom. Fear not, souls of the righteous, but wait with patient hope for the day of your death in righteousness. Grieve not because your soul descend in great trouble, with groaning, lamentation, and sorrow to the receptacle of the dead. In your lifetime your bodies have not received a recompense in proportion to your goodness, but in the period of your existence have sinners existed, in the period of execration and of punishment. And when you die, sinners say concerning you, as we die, the righteous die. What profit have they in their works? Behold, like us, they expire in sorrow and in darkness. What advantage have they over us? Henceforward are we equal. What will be within their grasp, and what before their eyes forever? For behold, they are dead, and never will they again perceive the light. I say unto you, sinners, you have been satisfied with meat and drink, with the plunder of men, and raping, with sin, with the acquisition of wealth, and with the sight of good days. Have you not marked the righteous, how their end is in shalom? For no oppression is found in them, even to the day of their death. They perish, and are as if they were not, while their souls descend in trouble to the receptacle of the dead. Chapter 103. But now I swear to you, righteous, by the greatness of his splendor, and by his esteem, and by his illustrious kingdom, and by his majesty, to you I swear that I comprehend this mystery, that I have read the tablet of the Shamayim, have seen the writings of the Kodesh ones, and have discovered what is written and impressed on it concerning you, that all goodness, joy, and esteem has been prepared for you, and been written down for the Ruach of them who die eminently righteous and good. To you it shall be given in return for your troubles, and your portion shall far exceed the portion of the living. The Ruach of you who die in righteousness shall exist and rejoice. Their Ruach shall exult, and their remembrance shall be before the face of all Elohim from generation to generation, nor shall they now fear disgrace. Woe to you sinners when you die in your sins, and they who are like you say respecting you, Baruk are these sinners. They have lived out their whole period, and now they die in joyfulness and in wealth, distress and slaughter. They knew not while alive. In honor they die, nor even in their lifetime did judgment overtake them. This is just making me think of that Queen's funeral. They make it seem like it's so grand, you know. Has it not been shown to them that to the receptacle of the dead their soul shall be made to descend, their evil deeds shall become their greatest torment, into darkness, into the snare, and into the flame which shall burn to the great judgment shall their Ruach enter, and the great judgment shall take effect forever and ever. Woe to you, for to you there shall be no shalom, neither can you say to the righteous and to the good who are alive, in the days of our trouble have we been afflicted. Every trouble have we seen, and many evil things have suffered. Our Ruach have been consumed, lessened, and diminished. We have perished, nor has there been a possibility of help for us. In word or in deed, we have found none, but have been tormented and destroyed. We have not expected to live day after day. We hoped indeed to have been the head, but we have become the tail. We have been afflicted when we have exerted ourselves, but we have been devoured by sinners and the wicked. Their yoke has been heavy upon us. Those have exercised dominion over us who detest and who goad us. And to those who hate us have we humbled our neck, but they have shown no compassion towards us. We have been desirous of escaping from them, that we might fly away and be at rest, but we have found no place to which we could fly and be secure from them. We have sought an asylum with princes in our distress, and have cried out to those who were devouring us, but our cry has not been regarded, nor have they been disposed to hear our voice, but rather to assist those who plunder and devour us, those who diminish us and hide their oppression, who remove not their yoke from us, but devour and enervate and slay us, who conceal our slaughter, nor remember they that have lifted up their hands against us. I swear to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Because this text right here is
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's so much in it, and these chapters of ending is really the result of what we're reading through a proper translation. So, and it's mentioned in chapter 104 of Enoch Rishon, first Enoch. I swear to you, Zadok, righteous, that in the Shamayim the angels record your esteem, your goodness before the Kavod of El Elyon. Wait with patience, for formerly you have been disgraced with evil and with affliction, but now you shall shine like the luminaries of the heaven. You shall be seen at the gates of the Shamayim, shall be opened to you. Your cries have cried for judgment, and it has appeared to you for an account of all your sufferings shall be required from the princes and from everyone who has assisted your plunderers. Wait with patient trusting, nor relinquish your confidence, for great Simcha shall be yours, like that of the angels in the heaven. Conduct yourself as you may, still you may not be concealed in the day of great judgment. You can't hide. You shall be found like sinners. The eternal condemnation shall be far from you, so as the world exists, so long as the world exists. And now, fear not, righteous ones, when you see the wicked, the sinners, flourishing and prospering in their ways. Be not associated with them, but keep yourselves at a distance from their oppression. Be you associated with the host of heaven, Yahweh Tozavot. You sinners say, all of our transgressions shall not be taken account of and be recorded. But all of your transgressions shall be recorded daily, and be assured by me that light and darkness, day and night, behold, all of your transgressions, your wickednesses. Be not impious in your thoughts. Lie not, surrender not the word of uprightness. Lie not against the word of the Kodesh and of El Elyon. Esteem not your idols, for all your lying and all your impiety is not for the righteousness, but for great crime. Now I will point out a mystery. Many wicked ones shall turn and transgress against the word of uprightness. That would be the Torah. They shall speak evil things, and they shall utter falsehoods, and create a great creation. Footnote, execute great undertakings, literally create a great creation. And compose Sepharim in their own words. But when they shall write all my words correctly in their languages, they shall neither change nor diminish them, but shall write them all correctly, all from the first I have uttered concerning them. Footnote, despite Hanuk's mandate, this Sefer was most certainly changed and diminished by later editors. Through these fragments, and these have survived. Another mystery I also point out to you, to the Zadok, the righteous and those that have Hakmah, that have wisdom, shall be given Sepharims of great Simcha, joy, of integrity and of great wisdom. To them shall Sepharim be given. These are books to be given, in which they shall absolutely trust, and in which they shall rejoice, and all the righteous shall be rewarded, for whom from these shall acquire the knowledge of every upright path, the Yashar'Al, the right path. In those days, says Yahweh, they shall call to the children of the earth, Eretz, and make them listen to their wisdom. Show them that you are their leaders, and that a remuneration shall take place over all the whole earth. For I and my son will forever hold communion with them in the paths of uprightness. Ashar. It's Yara. It's the same book as the uprightness. So the book of Yashar is the same word. While they are still alive, Shalom, peace shall be yours. Great Simcha, children of integrity in the emet, in the truth. Chapter 105. After a time, my son Methuselah took a woman for his son Lamech. She became pregnant by him and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was as white as snow and red as a rose, the hair of whose head was like wool and long, and whose eyes were beautiful. In fact, when he opened them, he illuminated all the house like the sun. The whole house abounded with his light. And when he was taken from the hand of the midwife, Lamech, his father, became afraid of him, and flying away came to his father Methuselah, and said, I have begotten a son unlike others. He is not like of men, but resembling the offspring of the angels of the Shamayim. He's of a different nature, being altogether unlike to us. His eyes are as the beams of the sun, and his countenance magnificent as he looks, not as if he belonged to me, but to the angels. And I'm afraid lest something miraculous should take place on the earth in his days. And now, my father, let me entreat and request you to go to our progenitor Enoch and learn from him the truth, for his residence is with the angels. Well, when Methuselah heard the words of his son about his grandson, he came to meet me at the extremities of the earth. So this is Enoch writing this story about his son Methuselah coming to the edge of the extremities of the earth. So, for he had been informed that that's where I was. There he cried out. I heard his voice, and I went to him, saying, Behold, Hanani, here am I, my son. Since you have come to me, he answered and said, On account of a great event have I come to you. On account of a slight difficulty have I approached you. And now, my father, hear me. For my son Lamech, a child has been born who resembles not him, and whose nature is not like the nature of a man. His color is whiter than snow, he is reddier than the rose, and the hair of his head is whiter than white wool. His eyes are like the beams of the sun, and when he opened them, he illuminated the whole house. When also he was taken from the hand of his midwife, his father Lamech, my son, feared and fled to me, believing not what belonged to him, but that he resembled the angels of the heaven. And behold, I have come to you that you might point out to me the truth. Then Enoch answered him and said, Yahuah will effect a new thing upon Eretz. This I have explained and seen in a vision. I explained it to you guys. I have shown you that in the generation of Yared, my father, those who were from heaven disregarded the word of Yahuah. Behold, they committed crimes, led aside their class, and intermingled with women. With them also they transgressed, married with them, and begat children who are not like spiritual beings, but creatures of flesh. A great destruction therefore shall come upon all the earth. The Eretz, a deluge, a great destruction shall take place in 1 year. This child which is born to your son shall survive on the earth, and his 3 sons shall be saved with him. When all mankind who are on the earth shall die, he shall be saved, and his posterity shall beget on the earth giants, not spiritual, but carnal. Upon the earth shall be great punishment be inflicted, and it shall be washed from all corruption. Now therefore inform your son Lamech that he who is born is his child in truth, Emet, and he shall call his name Noach, for he shall be to you a savior.
Survivor.
A survivor. Thank you. He and his children shall be saved from the corruption which shall take place in the world, from all the wickedness and from all the iniquity which shall be consummated on earth in his days. Afterwards shall great impiety take place than that which had been before consummated on the earth. For I am acquainted with these Kodesh mysteries, which Yahuah himself has discovered and explained to me, and which I have read in the tablets of the Shamayim. In them I saw it written that generations after generations shall transgress, until a Tzedak race, a righteous race shall arise, until transgression and crime perish from off the earth, until all righteousness come upon it. And now, my son, go tell your son Lamech that the child which is born is his child in truth, Emet, and that there is no deception. When Methuselah heard the word of his father Enoch, who had showed him every secret thing, he returned with understanding and called the name of that child Noah, because he was to console the earth on account of all its destruction. Another sefer which Enoch wrote for his son Methuselah, and for those who should come after him and guard their purity of conduct in the latter days. Woo-hoo, that's us. You who have labored shall wait in those days until the evildoers be consumed and the power of the guilty be annihilated.
Hallelujah.
Wait until sin passes. Wait for it. For their names shall be blotted out of the Kodesh Seferim, those books. Their seed shall be destroyed, and their Ruach Hakodesh slain, those spirits. They shall cry out and lament in the invisible waste, and in the bottomless fire shall they burn. Footnote, literally in the fire shall they burn where there is no earth. There I perceived, as it were, a cloud which could not be seen through, for from the depth of it I was unable to look upward. I would assume this is in this place without earth. I beheld also a flame of fire blazing brightly, and as it were glittering mountains whirled around and agitated from side to side. Then I inquired of one of the Kodesh Melachim, the angels, whom was with me, and said, "What is splendid? ? For it is not heaven, but a flame of fire alone which blazes." And the clamor of exclamation, of woe, and of great suffering. He, the angel, said, "There into that place which you behold shall be thrust the Ruach Hakodesh of sinners, the wicked, the blasphemers, of all those who shall do evil, and who shall pervert all which Elohim has spoken by the mouth of the prophets, all which they ought to do. For respecting these things there shall be writings and impressions above in the Shamayim, that the angels may read them and know what shall happen both to the wicked and to the Ruach Hakodesh of the humble, to those who have suffered in their bodies, but have been rewarded by Elohim, who have been injuriously treated by wicked men, who have loved Elohim, who have been attached neither to gold nor silver nor to any worldly good thing in the world, but have given their bodies to torment, to those who from the period of their birth have not been covetous of earthly riches, but have regarded themselves as a breath passing away. Such has been their conduct, and much has Yahuah tried them, and their Ruach have been found pure, that they might Kodesh and Baruk his name. All their Barukings have I related in a sefer, and he has rewarded them, for they have been found to love Shamayim with an everlasting aspiration, while they have been trodden down by wicked men. They have heard from them revilings and blasphemies, and have been ignominiously treated, while they were Kodeshing me and Baruching me. And now will I call the Ruach Hakodesh of the righteous God Tov from the generations of light, and will change those who have been born in darkness, who have not in their bodies been recompensed with esteem, as their faith may be merited. I will bring them into the splendid light of those who love my Qadashayam, my Kodesh name. And I will place each one of them on a throne of kavod, of majesty, and majesty his own, and they shall be rest during unnumbered periods. Tzedakness, righteousness is the judgment of Elohim, for to the believing shall he give trust in the habitations of uprightness, Ashar. They shall see those who have been born in darkness unto darkness shall be cast, while the Tzedak, the righteous, shall be at peace, at rest, Shalom. The wicked, the sinners, shall cry out, beholding them, while they exist in splendor, and proceed forward to the days and periods prescribed to them. And there is a footnote here, a fragment from the Sefer of Enoch, not found in the Ethiopic text. So that whole chapter right there, the first time I recorded all of this, it wasn't in there because it was off of the Larkin's translation, which did not have this part in it.
I gotta share with my wife. I don't know if she heard this verse 27. You gotta listen to this. For to the faithful shall he give faith in the habitations of uprightness. They shall see those who have been born in darkness unto darkness shall be cast, while the righteous shall be at rest. Sinners will cry out, beholding them, beholding the righteous, while they exist in splendor, and proceed forwards to the days and periods prescribed to them. So they're not going to be annihilated. They're going to be actually like seeing all the the Baruk Atah of the righteous living in splendor and shalom, and they're, wow.
Okay. Many places it says eternal damnation or judgment.
Yeah.
So when people say, you're just going to burn up, no, this is a fire that is unquenchable. It has no bottom.
Right.
And from the other books, it describes this place.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell from the other books, I'm just going to throw this out. I personally feel that it is a stomach. And all those are going to be consumed because Yahweh's compassion, and he doesn't want even that to be a waste. It's going to be a food.
Wow, hallelujah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Baruk Atah.
Like Jonah in the belly of the whale, right? Like